Look, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the Super League. I want to talk about the Super League because it's very important, it's very key, it's very instrumental, and it's been something that's been in the pipeline for years. The Super League, the European Super League, to be completely honest. Let's start with this. We're not some sort of beacon of morality. Neither is PSG and neither is Dortmund. Because obviously those are the three teams that have rejected the idea of the Super League. And the reason is quite obvious. The reason, if you ask me why those three teams have rejected the European Super League, the reason is quite obvious. Bayern and Dortmund just simply can't. We're a member-owned club. Yes, so is Barcelona. Yes, so is Real Madrid. But like their decisions are unlikely to be overturned. Whereas with us, if, for example, Rummenigge or Herbert Heiner, if they actually join or join the European Super League, they would get voted out in the next AGM ASAP. And then we'd be out of it immediately, ASAP. So there's like no point really. So that's why we didn't join. Don't think it's a beacon of morality because we clearly know that Rummenigge has been looking into this for like the past 5 years. Every time the Super League has been a topic, who was the person that was mentioned? It was Rummenigge. Rummenigge is looking into it. Rummenigge is interested in it. So on and so forth. It was always him really like looking into it, with vigor. Now just because he looked into it now obviously doesn't mean that he wanted it, but I think where there's smoke there's usually fire, as we've seen, especially recently with the whole Flick situation. Now Dortmund, the same thing applies to Dortmund. With PSG have a World Cup to run. They don't want to piss off FIFA. PSG, the owners of PSG own Being Sport, and Being Sport basically pay a lot of money each year to get the Champions League rights. So if you think that PSG is pissing off FIFA or UEFA, you're also wrong. So none of us are beacons of morality, right? If there were no detriments to any of us, believe us, we would have all joined this European Super League. So I just want to make that clear right from the get-go, because people are like, oh, look at Bayern and PSG saving football. No. No. This is all a money's game, right? This is all a money's game. It always has been and always will be. Now, here is the key thing, though, as well, for the European Super League. People hate it. Very good reasons. People hate it for very good reasons, and the clubs love it for also very good reasons. Money rules the world. As a football club, especially, we've seen that, which is why people have been saying that the 50+1 model is so good, is that, other football clubs, they have owners. It's very telling that two of the clubs that have joined this, that are part of this European Super Club, are... Well, I want to get all the clubs, but like the two of those key clubs, right? Here we go. The 12 clubs are Manchester United, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, and Inter Milan, AC Milan, and Juventus. Do you know what these clubs have in common? United, they have owners, and they're never going to win the Champions League. Liverpool, they have owners. They have a very good chance of winning the Champions League. City, they have owners. Also, good chance of winning the Champions League. Arsenal, they have owners. Not a good chance of winning the Champions League. Chelsea, they have owner. Good chance of winning the Champions League. Tottenham, they have owners. Not a good chance of winning the Champions League. So you've got mixed teams between teams that can win the Champions League and teams that can't. Obviously, then you go with Inter Milan, AC Milan, and honestly, I would say, yeah, it's just them two, really. AC Milan, Inter Milan, they're not going to win the Champions League anytime soon, right? Let's face it. This is basically a reputation game. It's a stupid game. It's a very stupid game, but it's a reputation game. If we're talking about just based on like actual teams, Manchester United would not be there. Arsenal would not be there. Tottenham would not be there. AC Milan would not be there. Inter Milan would not be there. Like, if it was just purely based on like actual footballing talent, but it's not. It's a money scheme. It always has been. It always will be. It's very simple. But the key part here is that there are a lot of teams here, or majority of the teams here, that have owners. Manchester United is massively screwed by their owners. I don't actually know. I believe they are still massively in debt too. You've got Liverpool, who I believe is 250 million in debt. Last time I read, I'm not 100% sure on the figures. Maybe it's 120 or it's 250. 250. It's like one of those two. I don't know why those two are the two numbers that are floating in my head, but like it's one of those. So like it's either 120 or 250 that they're in debt. You've got City. I mean, it's then you've got Arsenal. I mean, have you seen their owners? It's all about greed, man. That's why the 50+1 model is sort of good. Now here's the thing: a European Super League would be fun. I ain't gonna lie, it would be fun. Seeing these teams play each other week in, week out, it would be fun, right? Let's not. You may say, "Oh no, it would not be fun. It's the end of football." No, it would be fun. It would be fun to watch these games happening week in, week out. Yeah, sure, that's fine. That's absolutely amazing. Wow, great job. Here's the fact. Here's the fact of life, though, right? One, you don't have a competitive integrity. The reason for that is because these 12 clubs, these founding 12 clubs, can't get relegated. They can't get kicked out. So they will just stay there regardless of how they play. So likes of Manchester United or Arsenal or Tottenham or Inter Milan or AC Milan will probably be last. Hey, nothing to fear. We're making our free money. Hey, okay. So there is no competitive integrity. What's the point of playing if there's no competitive integrity? Number 2 of why this is a bad thing. The fan situation. Football is already such a hugely divided thing, right? It's a very expensive thing. Extremely expensive. The tickets might not be that expensive, right? Let's be completely honest. The tickets, if you want to get a ticket, you can usually get a ticket. Whenever I'm in Munich, whenever I want to get a ticket, even if I don't buy a ticket, even if I wanted to buy a ticket on the match day, it's relatively simple to get one, right? There are even ticket vendors. I know they're not popular, but there are ticket vendors outside the stadium every time too. So if you really want to get a ticket, it's very simple to get a ticket and relatively cheap too. Like the most you'll pay really the most you'll pay for like a. Honestly, I don't know what the most expensive ticket is because I never paid for the most expensive ticket. If I'm being completely honest, I always look at some of the cheapest ones. But like honestly, like if you want to get a ticket, you can get one for reasonable price every time. Even if it's the last minute, you can get one for maybe 100, right? That's I consider that relatively decent. It's not like super cheap. It's not expensive. There are much more expensive things out there, but it's like reasonable. But it's a traveling. That's always a big issue. Like if you're traveling away, if you're going to away games, then say you're playing European games and you're going to away clubs with the flight and everything, that's where the real price comes in, and that's where the real issue comes in, ladies and gentlemen. Because there are people out there, right? There are people out there. I know a few people. Actually, I have a few friends that go to pretty much every single game that they can. Not me, obviously, haha, because I'm always here, haha. I don't have that dinero. I don't have that dinero. But there are people out there that go to basically that I know that go to basically as close to every single game that they can, right? And they spend, give or take, one European games are factored into maybe like 2K a month, which doesn't sound like much, but when you really, it does sound like much, right? I don't want to say it doesn't sound like much because it's when you think of like a lot of money, you think of like 50K, and let's not go crazy, right? But they do spend a big amount of money to go to the majority of these games, if not all of these games, and that's 2K out of their monthly salary. They still have a job to do. They still have work to do. So you think about all the trips, so on and so forth. Being a fan and trying to support your team, it's easy when you're doing it from home, like me. But like once you're actually like traveling week in, week out, it becomes a very, very difficult thing to do on your pockets. Now imagine this with a European Super League, where you're playing essentially against 11 other clubs at minimum. 11 other clubs at absolute minimum. My lips are dry. Chapped as well. You're playing against 11 other clubs at minimum, right? You're gonna have to fly. Oh, fly to Manchester. Oh, fly to London. Oh, fly to Barcelona. Oh, fly to Madrid. Oh, fly to Milan. Oh, fly. It's kind of ridiculous. It really is ridiculous how much this will go against the fans. Now, of course, the fans. I'm going to be honest with you, right? I'm going to be completely honest with you. Stadiums will always be full. All right? I don't think the club will necessarily lose out on revenue from from stadium-going fans. I'll tell you why. Okay, look, I'll tell you why. I'm trying to think of how I can phrase it, but like, if you have a game between, say, I don't know, Real Madrid and Bayern. I know Bayern's not part of it, but Real Madrid and Bayern, right? People want to go there. People want to go there, right? There are going to be people that are going to travel. There are going to be people in Madrid that are going to be Bayern fans that will go, okay, you know what? I'm watching this. So you might not have people that like would usually travel, like right now would usually travel and go to these games, but then you would have people that live in certain stadiums, because let's face it, all these cities are generally bigger cities. They're generally big cities, and they would then be able to go. So the football fans have so many fans. Football clubs have so many fans that it doesn't actually matter where they go, which actually, pre-season is always a good indicator of that. It doesn't actually matter where you play. Stadiums will always be full. You could go to a city that nobody's ever heard of, and stadiums will still be full, and that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Now, I was going to wait with this video because I'm actually quite intrigued, because there was supposed to be a statement today from Paris, Florentino Perez of Real Madrid, who's going to announce it, but I've not heard anything so far. It was scheduled for today, but nothing. Absolutely nothing. So here is my thoughts on this whole situation, ladies and gentlemen. The Super League, I don't think... It's difficult. I don't know whether it's going to happen. And I'll tell you why I don't know whether it's going to happen, because the whole FIFA and UEFA thing, they've basically threatened with, if the Super League happens and the players play for the Super League, then they will not be eligible to play on the World Cup or the Euros, for example. A lot of people don't care about that. A lot of players don't care about that. They care predominantly about the club competition. But then you look at the South Americans, they care about their country extremely. You look at certain European countries, they care about their country extremely. So I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening at all. But then again, football is an ever-evolving topic, and quite frankly, the fact of the matter is this. Just because I'm not sure about it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. But it also doesn't mean, just because there is so much smoke and so much fire right now, it doesn't mean that the fire is going to manifest and people are going to start learning how to build fire, So we're in this weird limbo where we can go to being a Neanderthal, or we can go to being a dinosaur or a monkey, right? We can go to one or the other. We'll see. We will see, ladies and gentlemen. We will see. My thoughts on this whole Super League, honestly, is I'm not like massively against it as other people are, and there are other people that are massively for it. I'm not. For me, whether it's an actual league or whether it becomes like the replacement for the cup competition, because both things have been touted, right? Obviously, the name implies it's an actual league, but both things have been touted, for being completely honest. If this Super League manifests and it's given the green light, it's given the ability to go ahead with it, I think Bayern will join. Even if the members won't like it at first, I think it might take a while, but I think Bayern will join eventually. Give it like 5 years after it's been established, and I think Bayern will join. But I honestly don't see it working. I'll be honest, I honestly don't see it working, ladies and gentlemen. But that's just my take. I will see all of you in the next one. Until then, let me know what you all think about this whole Super League thing. Again, I was waiting for there to be something. Sky and BT are the biggest hypocrites out there, right? I just want to say that. I just want to say, I know I recently featured on BT Sport, but I just want to say that that they're the biggest hypocrites. Because, look, they're now talking about all this, it's against football to do this. It's against football to do it. Let me tell you something, right? Sky and BT Sport, right? Sky Sport and BT Sport, right? These people were charging, what was it, £16? I know it's pounds, right? Who cares about pounds? Screw your island, right? But £16 per game, right? As if it's a wrestling match, right? As if it's like a WWE, as if I'm watching Logan Paul versus friggin', like what kind of, even that I didn't pay for, like as if I'm watching that kind of nonsense, right? As if I'm watching the UFC. £16 per game during a pandemic. Do you know how ridiculous that is, right? So them being like this beacon of morality now is just so hypocritical. Look, people may like me, people may dislike me, right? The one thing I'm not is a beacon of morality because, quite frankly, I'm a hypocrite. Everyone is a hypocrite, right? You may not agree with it, you may not like it, you may not like me saying that, but fact is, everyone is a hypocrite. You can be like, oh, I hate lying, then you'll lie yourself. Oh, it's wrong to do this and that, then you'll do this and that yourself. Everyone is a hypocrite, all right? Oh, being I can't think of something, right? But everyone's a hypocrite, right? We all say something that, well, this is wrong, this is bad, and then in the heat of the moment, or even just like consciously, we do the same exact thing without even realizing, because all of us are hypocrites, and that's okay. Right? I'm not here to be the beacon of morale. I'm not here to tell you, oh, this is wrong, this is right. This is why I always look at things with a more nuanced view. I don't really like say outright, this is bad, this is good. Right? I just think, okay, well, what are the positives? What are the negatives? What is outweighing the positives? Are the positives outweighing the negatives? Are the negatives outweighing the positives? Right? Because at the end of the day, we're all hypocrites. We're all flawed human beings. Right? None of us are perfect, and that's okay. But to then come around and be like, oh, you know what? As an organization, it's obviously your goal is to make money, and I don't have an issue with BT Sport and Sky Sport making money. Right? People, don't get me wrong. Right? Companies out there, all the broadcasts, all the companies out there. I'm the right. If you have to decide right here, right, which are like the people that are like billionaires, there shouldn't be no billionaires, right? I'm the furthest from that. I want to be the richest person. I want to have the most money, right? There should be billionaires. There should be me as a billionaire, a trillionaire, in fact. Make me a trillionaire, right? But I'm the furthest away from the people that are like, oh, making money is a bad thing. Everything, communism and socialism. Like, bro, no. Like, if you're here, right, I am a billion miles in that direction, all right? I'm the furthest thing away from that. To me, capitalism is amazing. Fantastic, all right? Fantastic. But don't be a hypocrite with it. Don't be a hypocrite about it, right? Don't be like, oh, it is wrong for a European Super League because we don't have the rights for it, and we've spent so much money on the Premier League rights, so much money on the Champions League rights, so much money on La Liga rights, so much money on Ligue 1 rights, so much money on the Bundesliga rights, so much money on, you know, all these rights. We spent Serie A's right. We spent so much money. The Europa League rights, the World Cup rights, the Euros rights. We spent so much money on all these rights, and now you just want to separate. No, like, don't be ridiculous, right? It's all about a money's game, right? If they had the rights for the European Super League, do you think they wouldn't take it? Of course they would take it. They would turn into hypocrites ASAP, all right? They would turn into hypocrites so quickly, right? They would go from the European Super League is anti-football to European Super League, European Super. I don't know what the intro for that would be, but that's basically what they would turn into, right? And I don't have an issue with that. But don't pull the high horse. Don't pull the high horse. Don't be on a high horse looking down like, it's wrong. It's wrong. When you know damn well, right? When you know damn well, you know for sure that if these companies get the rights to the European Super League and, you know, more clubs from their league, from their specific country, whatever country it is, in this case obviously Sky and BT in the UK, you know, don't tell me that if more teams from the UK wouldn't join the European Super League, that like Sky and BT wouldn't get the rights for the European Super League. Like, don't tell me that nonsense, right? Because we all know that's true. We all know that's the case, right? If they just came out and said nothing, I would have been A-okay. Now, you probably have all these TV networks, right? The only one, obviously, I'm most familiar with Sky and BT because I live in the UK. But, like, I tell you, I'm pretty sure, like, all the TV networks and all the countries are doing the exact same hypocritical nonsense. We're like, oh, no, it's wrong. It's wrong for the European Super League, mate. It's so wrong. It should not happen. It should not be a thing. But you know damn well, if they got the rights, they'd be like, yo, it's the greatest thing ever. You know, it's the greatest thing ever. Look at us. It's so amazing. Such an amazing thing. You know, so don't give me that nonsense, right? Don't give me that absolute nonsense. Because I don't mind companies trying to make money. It's at the end of the day, you're a company. You make money because you have employees. You make money to make money, right? Money is fantastic. But don't be a hypocrite about it, right? Because as people, we are hypocrites, right? I get that. But as a corporation, you're a separate entity. You're regarded not just legally, but you're also regarded most of the times in terms of the public perception. You're regarded as a separate entity. Like there are very few companies out there where the corporation is not regarded as a separate entity. Like, for example, Tesla. People think of Tesla, they automatically think of Elon Musk. When people think of Amazon, they usually think of Jeff Bezos, despite the fact that he's not really in charge anymore. But they still think Jeff Bezos, right? Same with Facebook. Same with with YouTube, perhaps not so much because Google is such a huge entity. But then you've got Susan Wojcicki, who, people do think of when they think of YouTube. But that's mostly like the specialist aspect of it. When people think of Microsoft, they think Bill Gates. There are certain companies where that's not the case. Where like when people think of Berkshire Hathaway, they think of Michael Munger and obviously why is his name escaping me? They think of Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett. I could not think of Warren Buffett. There are certain companies where that does not apply to, right? But truth of the matter is this. Generally, people don't associate companies with businesses. Sorry, people usually associate companies and businesses as a separate legal entity, as a separate entity in its entirety, right? So, like, you should behave like that. You should behave like that, like a separate entity. But they don't. And it's going to come back to bite them. If the European Super League is established, it's going to come back to bite them. My bet is on, honestly, I dislike Sky. I don't dislike BT, if I'm being completely honest, because they show the Bundesliga, and I'm actually quite grateful for that. Because before, when I moved to the UK for the first time, when I moved to the UK, at the beginning, I should say, the way I kept up with Bayern games was not even by watching them. It was watching the highlights after the game is finished and watching the live ticker. That's how I used to watch football for about 3 years. Like, honestly, from about, like, 2007 to about the end of, like, the 2000... Yeah, honestly, the end of, like, the 2009 season. Is the way I watched football was by watching the highlights after the game and then watching live tickers. That's how I used to watch football. So, like, I know the struggle, all right? I know this. Nowadays, you can just crack stream and you find you just type in www.crackstream.se and you'll find anything you want, any game you want at any time. Or you just go on Twitter and you just search Bayern live stream while the game is happening and you'll find somebody streaming the game, all right? So, like, nowadays it's easy. You're getting away with a lot. I sound like an old fart now, but honestly, right? This European Super, I dislike Sky. I must admit, I dislike Sky. All right, I dislike Sky. Not like I hate Sky or anything of that. I just dislike how much they charge. That's what it was. I dislike how much they charge, right? Because at the end of the day, I don't want to pay that much. But I do. Say BT, I can accept BT because they do charge quite a bit, but they also have the Bundesliga, they have Serie A, they have Liga, so I'm like, and they have the Champions League. I'm like, okay, I can pay for all that. That's fine. You're getting my money for that because I'm seeing value. But Sky is just like the Premier League. I'm like, bro, it's just the Premier League. But I like darts. I love darts. So I need to get myself Sky Sports. Like, bro, come on, man. You got me by the balls, and you're not letting me go. It's like, let me go. They're like, no, we're not letting you go. So it is the way it is, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the day, look, European Super League, I don't think it's going to happen in the next 3-4 years, of being completely honest. But like 10 years down the line, if I'm still making YouTube channel, if I'm still making YouTube videos in 10 years down the line, which I don't think I will, honestly. But if I am, it's going to happen. If I am 10 years down the line, take 2031. My goodness. Now, if I'm making videos in 10 years down the line, there's definitely something wrong with me. That's all I'm going to say. But if I'm still making videos when I'm 35, there is most certainly something wrong with me, right? Because I should be retired by then. I should be retired by the time I'm 30, my goodness. But like if I'm making videos in 10 years down the line, the European Super League will have been established. 100%. I guarantee it to you. Seal of approval. Come back to this video in 10 years' time and comment I was right or I was wrong, because I will only be right. And if I'm wrong, I'm going. If I'm wrong, I'm going. But if I'm right, I'll make one last video in 10 years down the line and be like, yeah, I was right. That's actually my thoughts on this whole thing. But yes, ladies and gentlemen. That's just my thoughts. We kind of went deeper into this European Super League than I wanted to, but that's just my thoughts on this whole European Super League discussion, talk, whatever. But yeah, let me know what you all think, and be honest, right? If you like it, if you like the content of it, let me know. If you dislike it, let me know, because I know there are people that love it and people that hate it, and with a lot of things, the people that dislike something, their voices are a lot more heard, their voices are a lot louder. But on this channel, the one thing that I'm vehemently against is drowning someone's voice out, someone that I disagree with. So as long as you keep it respectful, as long as you share your thoughts, all of them are welcome here. So let me know what you all think about this whole thing. Besides that, though, I will see all of you in the next one. Until then, have a nice day. Peace out and